These were two really amazing questions, right? So if you guys want me to answer questions on this live, we used to do this on a different platform. Just go to steveolsongroup.com/ask, put your question there, and I will answer it in order that they come in, assuming they're valid questions, and we can do all of that. I will send you an email on the day we're going to answer that question, and I will send you another email after the episode has aired with that question being answered. I'll also answer it with you one-on-one. But I love doing these because most of you guys have very common questions that everybody else has, right? So make sure and submit those. It's totally anonymous other than your first name, and you need to be in Carlsbad. So other than that, it's fairly anonymous. I would say maybe somebody could guess that. I don't know how they would do that, but super anonymous. Okay, question number one. This comes from Julian in Carlsbad, California, and the question is, how do the comps of my neighborhood affect my sales price? Now, he gave me a whole paragraph answer. This is kind of summed up. And the way that I would answer this, Julian, is that when you list your home for sale, from an appraisal perspective, an appraiser, and it's weird right now because inventory is kind of all over the place, so it's getting better, right? But an appraisal is going to look at statistically the last 3 homes that were listed for sale and sold, and they're going to adjust those based on conditions, square footage, upgrades, realtor commissions, closing concessions. They back all of that stuff up, and then they normalize that number, and that becomes the valuation for your home, and then they adjust that up or down based on where your home is, right? So a home that sells at $1 million at 5.5% total commission versus a home that sells for $1.1 million at 7% total commission, like the commission, it's all equaled out so that there's an equal number, right? So even though you may have a very, very high home sale, but you had a lot of closing cost concessions, and maybe you paid out a lot of commission and there were a lot of other credits at close, that's going to be taken into account on an appraisal. They're also going to look for the homes that are actively listed in the market right now in your neighborhood within a quarter mile, give or take, that are like properties, and they're going to take those, they're going to adjust them up or down, and then come up with a number with yours. That's an appraisal. That's not what I would be looking at if I wanted to sell my home, though. Like, it's really easy to say, what's my home worth? And I'd like to beat that price, right? That's like the standard thing that we all want to do. But I think that's a mistake, and I'll tell you why. When I'm thinking about selling my home, and I'm going through the process of maybe doing some work to the home, fixing the curb appeal, painting, doing all that stuff, what I want to do is I want to position the home to be the no-brainer best next option for the next person coming in the neighborhood. I'll give that to you again. Everything that I'm going to do, it's not based on an appraisal. It's not based on what it's worth. It's not based on what my neighbor's home sold for. We just had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and he said, well, my neighbor's home sold 2.5 years ago for this number. And that was a great number. And, 2.5 years ago was a different market than now. Hasn't really come down, but it definitely is a different market in regards to how we price and all that fun stuff. So I wouldn't be looking at pricing your home from what did the comps say? I would be looking to price your home from a marketing, from a position, from a condition, and from a pricing perspective, so that the next buyer that comes in the neighborhood and sees maybe your home and a couple others, if you're in a neighborhood with multiple listings, which isn't a whole lot, even though we do have 300 active and 100 pending right now in Carlsbad. But let's say you're in a neighborhood and there's 3 other homes for sale, or even if there's only 1 other home for sale. The way that I would be thinking about this is, what do I have to do from a marketing process, from a condition process, and from a pricing process to when that next buyer comes into my neighborhood, my home is the only perceived choice, right? There's a bunch of ways you can do it. It could be remodeled, could have an amazing curb appeal. Like, I will tell you right now, there's a study, and I don't have it with me right now. And it was done a while ago, maybe in the 2000s or something like that. It's been a little while. And they surveyed, I think this was done by Trulia or one of the big portals, and they surveyed like hundreds, if not thousands of buyers. And what they found is that the vast majority of those buyers made the decision to buy the home by the time they walked in the front door. They had already made the decision whether they wanted to buy that home or not before they even walked in the front door. So what does that mean? That means that your online presence matters. That means photography and media matters. That definitely means curb appeal matters. Is somebody excited to walk through that front door because of how the home looks on the outside? Like, we are driven by how others perceive us, right? So we really want to make sure that we exploit that. So as we're looking at comps, Julian, I would consider, like, hey, of all the ones in my neighborhood right now, am I the only choice for somebody coming in, and can I use that to my ability? That's how I would price the home. That's how I would market the home. That's how I would that's how I would determine how much money I want to invest into that property. Okay. Pricing, I talk about this all the time. Pricing is nothing more than a marketing tool. It's not a valuation. Job of a real estate agent, they should tell you what they think it's worth. But how we price the home has nothing to do with what it's worth. We are only using price to drive competition for that listing so that as many people possible can find, or as many people possible love that home at the same time. And then hopefully we get multiple offers and they drive the price up. That is the job of pricing. If you are talking with real estate agents, and I know this sounds a little bit like a brokered record, and you are judging real estate agents based on what they think your home is worth, that is a failed strategy. I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this forever. That is not what you should be talking about. Is how do we use price to generate as much activity on the listing within that first 10 days as possible so we can get multiple offers and drive that home up. Even in a market like today, Julian, even in a market like today, you only need two people that want your home at the same time. That's it. That's all we're trying to do. Two people to write an offer at the exact same time. That's going to help you make sure that you get the most amount of money for a property. And so you can get it in the best terms, all that fun stuff. One person, we can still sell it for a great price. I don't want you guys to feel like disappointed if you only get one offer. Getting an offer is amazing, is an amazing feat in the Carlsbad real estate market. So you should still take it and run with it. But getting two makes the entire process much easier. Julian, I hope that answers it. If it doesn't, let me know. Email me at steve@steveolsongroup.com, and I will take it from there. All right. Let me interrupt this episode really quick and let you know that if you're thinking about selling your home in 2025 or 2026 in Carlsbad, California, and you want the cheat code of how to sell for a record price in record time, click the link in the description below. It's steveolsongroup.com/sell, and we'll give you the entire process that will make this super easy and equitable, even in a market like 2025 or 2026. So click the link in the description, download the guide, let me know if you have any questions, and let's get back to the episode.